Good. So what are we doing, Sean?
We are going to flash Tyler's 330 MS43 with an open tune and start making pops, bangs, crackles, potentially fireballs, and...
Well, the fire and stuff like that has to come later.
Modulation with the throttle pedal stuff.
Yeah. We highly recommend you use a spare DME for this. Like 100%. And before you continue here, make sure your car's been off for at least 3 minutes.
They are a T5.
So a T5, which is...
Sorry, a hex.
Well, hex 5 millimeter. Just because you need to open up your DME to plug in your new one. This is currently our donor after, what was our count? 580 failed attempts? 540. After 540 failed attempts with this DME, we tried a different one and we finally got it figured out. Another thing you'll need is this. This is a DCAN USB cable. You absolutely need this link in the descript. One descripty boy.
One descript boy.
You also need Windows XP or Windows 7 and basically everything on the MS45 wiki page software-wise.
43.
MS43 software. There will be a link for that also down below in the description. You need everything. Install all that software, get them all linked to your desktop to make your life really easy. And yeah, right? So now I'm gonna go grab a laptop. While Sean goes about that, I'm gonna talk about how to prep your computer for MS43 tuning. So here's Windows XP. At this point, you've installed everything. So the first thing you need to do is plug in your cable, plug it into your VM, or if you have a Windows laptop, Windows 7 or XP, more power to you. So now that's plugged in. So now what you need to do is you need to open the HXD and mprog. So in mprog you hit Tools, Read and Parse, and then hit this Used Fixed Serial Number. Then you'll see this number here, okay? So now what you need to do is you need to go to HXD, hit File, Open, look for the Galetto 1260 executable. It's red with a little like cross through it. It's 4.24 megabytes, so it'll be around that size for you. And hit Open. Now that you're here, do Control F for Find and search Marca, M-A-R-C-A. And then this line right below Marca is what you have to enter. So this will not look like this number here on your end. It'll look a lot closer to the stock values. So then open mprog, get your serial number, yours will be different, and type it case sensitive in this area. It will be the exact same number of digits. Once you've done that, hit File, Save. I've made no changes because I've already done this. And then you can close this application. So now you've prepped your cable for coding. So now the computer is set. But before, when you continue, make sure you have the logger files with EWS signature. So this does disable EWS, and make sure you choose the one for your engine. If you have a 325 or a 2.5 motor, 2.5 liter displacement motor, use this file that says M54B25. If you have a B30 or a 330 or anything with a 3 liter motor, you choose this one, the M54B30 in the name. That is extremely important. Don't mix them up. It's not the end of the world if you do. You'll still start, but that also means you'll start and not really know if you had the issue. So now what you need to do is open up JM Garage Flasher and open it up completely. This is where you stop. And now we have to go back to the DME side. So now we're gonna go check up on Sean. So now comes the fun part.
Now I've attached this ground pin, which is just a staple straightened with the end of some wire wrapped around it, to our nice ground, factory ground bolt coming out of yonder firewall. And we're gonna go ahead and ground that pin right there off of the Infineon chip. That guy right there.
And so that happens while you while you
Not crank.
turn the key to position 2. And you have to do that for at least 6 seconds is what we've found to be most successful.
We'll see how it goes now.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
So you want to make sure you're on the right COM port. You can either play the guessing game and annoy person 2. Right? You'd find that pretty annoying. Or you can go to My Computer, right click, hit Properties, Hardware, Device Manager, Ports, and I see my USB is port 3. So I'm gonna go back to JM Garage and define my connector as port 3. So I'm gonna pull out my timer, my stopwatch I mean. Alright, are you ready?
Tyler, we are grounded.
1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. Nope, sorry, I'm counting too fast. Keep holding. And let go. So we know we're in boot mode because the coolant gauge has gone all the way to the red, even though the car is off. So now I can hit connect, and I've established connection with the car. You don't know how many failures we've gone through to get to this point.
A solid day.
2 days?
I mean,
A full day.
like a full 8 hours, like a full day's work spread across 2 days.
Yeah. To get to what you're seeing now.
Yeah.
So we're connected. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read this file. I think would be smart.
Well, this is the one that we had issues with originally.
Okay, so fuck it. So I'll just write to it. You will probably want to read.
So best practice would absolutely be to read, because that gives you, let's say you only have 1 DME to work with, boys, and it's yours. Do a read. That way, if anything goes south, you can restore your DME and go back to putting your key in the car and it working.
Yeah.
In theory. Anyway.
And again, for this reason, we highly recommend you use
A spare DME.
right one that if you fail at everything, you can plug in your old one and get back on the road. So anyway, we're gonna hit open, and I'm gonna go to my desktop here, and then here's my B30. Here's my B31. Just like my car, I'm gonna hit open. It likes the file, and I'm gonna hit write. Now we wait. And we did not put the battery charger in.
We're not bright.
But we're already 4% done, so I guess we're sending it.
Pop your trunk, Holmesy. This would be a good test to know how your battery's doing anyways.
There are a few parts in there.
And this, boys and girls, is how you live dangerously.
You should absolutely be using a battery charger right now.
This right here should not be hooked up to nothing.
We have so many spare DMEs we could swim in them, so we're not really that worried. But you should absolutely.
They're not free, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just put it that way.
Considering how many wasted hours there were.
Sit on your ledge tonight.
Oh, okay. My ledge is always open for you, Sean.
You've been ledging all day. This is great. I'm excitable.
You're excitable?
I'm excitable. I'm gonna go stop you in the camera before you're mad at me.
So we're coming up on the final percentages. I'd say less than 2 minutes have gone by. And I believe it's gonna tell us write complete. And there's no exclamation point, even though there really should be at this point. Because if you made it this far, then you've done something really right.
We're excited.
So now we're gonna turn this off.
And hope your transmission bolt of lightning or bolt of doom goes away.
Which it did. So everything's running just fine, which is what we're happy to see. But you're not done yet. So now you've successfully done, if you got everything working, like what we got, 99% chance, you've done an amazing job up to this point. So now what you want to do is you're going to want to open Gelato, and remember you've modified it at this point, which is extremely important. So now you're going to select, believe it or not, manufacturer BMW, and I know this is crazy, but you're selecting the ECU as MS43. Just ballistic. Yeah, I mean...
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It blows the mind that it lands up so easily.
Yeah. So now we're gonna select E46 3.0. This may not work, and if it doesn't, I'll explain why. So then you gotta choose your file, so I'm gonna call it base file 1 because we expect to mess with this many times. Saving it to my desktop. And that's working rather perfectly, actually. And this usually takes 180 seconds pretty repeatably, pretty dependably.
Yeah.
And then you're done. Then now you have a file to tune with. So I guess we'll also walk you through how to tune it. We might as well, right?
That's the whole point.
Because we're going to do some tuning. We're going to... Oh, you're talking to your cat. Oh, that was mean. So now we're going to open Tuner Pro. You're going to do File, Open Bin, and open the bin file you just made. So I called it base file 1. So I'm opening that. And then you're also going to do XDF, select XDF. And in your file there should have been an XDF included with all the stuff. I must have trashed it. Yep, here it is. Here it is. And I'm back. So here it is. Here's the XDF. And you have to make sure it's the .rar one, or else it doesn't work properly. Now, right click here, say show visibility levels, and select level 1. Now this has been much simplified. Okay. Glitch much. Yeah. Oh, I just selected level 9. So select level 1, deselect that parameter up there, and now you're good. So now you can mess with everything. So I'm going to make a few adjustments. The first one I'm going to do is adjust the target coolant temp. Interesting, dude. For my car, the level's 80. Wasn't it 87 for yours? So it seems that at high throttle, this is with AC, so never mind. Let's look at without AC. Okay, so without AC, it aims for 87. So what I'm going to do is I know that under low throttle, so this is the RPM, this is the another value that I'm unsure of. Do we know what that is? So it's RPM and airflow, right?
I can't see anything with the angle of the screen.
I believe that's RPM and
Stochastic value.
yeah. So
I think it's STK.
yeah. So based off the amount of air and the RPM, so I can tell that under high load, this engine gives its best power at 87 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to open all these values, change this upper function to fill with value, and set them to 87, and hit execute. Now if we look at our chart, which we can click here, you see now every value is expected to hit 87. So now I'm going to hit save. Now with AC, I'm going to trust it a little bit more. However, I'm going to set all of these to 87 and leave the remaining ones that are set at 80 and leave them at 80.
We missed one.
Oh, we did?
In my tune. That's why one thing I would suggest, guys, is to always have the map open for all this stuff. We can't show you right now, but if you could see mine, there's one point that's up while the rest of the graph is flat because we missed one item.
So now I'm going to see if this chart updates. Your cat's on the counter.
Yeah.
So again, axes are very important because like this is 80 and this is 87, even though it looks extreme. I'm leaving these as they were just because. So those are things I recommend you do to help the engine run more efficiently. DTC suppression I haven't understood. DSIG can become important when it comes to custom tuning. Another one you may be interested in is sensor. Nope, that's not it. So there's the engine limiters, vehicle speed, max vehicle speed. If you want to have maximum speed, just max that out and hit save. And again, of course, all these apply to the gearbox you have selected. So anyway, there is launch control for if you do have a manual. We're gonna ignore that because I do have an auto magic.
Auto tragic.
Auto scholastic. What's the one for getting rid of, wasn't it lambda controller? Config switches.
Yeah.
So go to config switches, and then here's forced OBD readiness, If you want to disable your post cats, click on Euro 2 and change this value to 1 and hit save. Now your post cats are disabled.
And then secondary air pump.
If you want to disable your secondary air pump, set that to 0. As for me, the final thing I'm going to adjust is my throttle pedal. It's throttle angle based on driver wish. This is definitely best seen with a graph. Oh, dude, that was so weird because yours started out low and then went up. Weird.
Yeah, so that's why I think there was something wrong with the base map we used.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm gonna leave this.
Thinking about it, I wonder if that's why it was idling so rough at first.
Tune. I'm gonna hit File, Save As. It's good to mark it as something new. So now I'm gonna call it 2 cat throttle. What else have I done?
SAP. I don't know. It'll make it should give you a log.
Cat throttle limiter. I'm gonna save that to the desktop.
Yeah, it's gonna give you a log telling you everything you changed. There you go.
Yep, and here's a list of all the changes I made.
I think that's one of the coolest parts.
Yeah.
Quite
So
honest.
now you plug it back in, you open this, you hit open file, select the file you just made, and check your car, turn the key to position 2, and hit right.